NFL Draft Instant Impact. 32 players, first round, Thursday night. Hoping to have that instant impact brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. All cake, no sugar, confetti craze. 5 Hour Energy is back. Grab yours at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Instant impact for the Giants will be the number 10 pick in the draft. That's what they hope in the trade that they made with the Cincinnati Bengals for Dexter Lawrence, and we will get to that. But big tweet just now from one Adam Schefter. Joins us each and every Tuesday after 8 a.m. Eastern. Schefter just tweeted that a draft intel column and that A.J. Brown is likely to become a member of the New England Patriots after June 1st. So this is the first time that anyone has reported it this way. We have heard about the Patriots and A.J. Brown, obviously connected. Coach Vrabel and A.J. Brown worked together in Tennessee with the Titans, obviously had success there. And now there is a chance they reunite. It's likely they reunite in New England after June 1st. You ask why after June 1st? Because the salary cap implications are much better for the Philadelphia Eagles then than they are now. Courtney Cronin, initial reaction to this as Schefter just put this story out moments ago.
Not at all surprised, because this was the expected outcome once the buzz started about A.J. Brown not wanting to be in Philadelphia and teams that need a receiver being natural fits. Obviously, there was the podcast he did earlier this year. I forget whose it was, but he was talking about Vrabel, and you could tell how much...
Edelman and Gronk, dudes on dudes.
Dudes on dudes.
That's a great name for a podcast.
No, that's literally the name.
I know,
I'm sorry.
I know.
I don't mean to be weird. That's the name of the podcast. Yeah.
It's a weird name for a podcast. Did they workshop that one? We should have gotten the people who named the show Unsportsmanlike to name their podcast. But
that would be Chris Canty.
Yeah,
anyways,
that's one Chris Canty.
I mean, we had heard buzz about this for a while, and the natural fit for a team that just went to the Super Bowl that still needs weapons on the outside is to go get weapons on the outside, and to go do that with a player who is proven, a player who wants out, and a player that already has a connection with the coaching staff, namely the head coach who was there in Tennessee when he was drafted. So I'm not surprised about this at all, and the fact that we're going to have to wait to get through OTAs, really just OTAs, because he can be there for mandatory minicamp. This is the post-June 1 cut. It'll be designated that way so they can split the cap hit over the next 2 years to lessen it a little bit, because it is still pretty significant this year. And it helps because the cap hit's $23.4 million. So you're able to spread that out over 2 years. It's a smart accounting strategy, and it's a good move for the Eagles to move on from a player who was a malcontent there last year, a team that's trying to figure out its own issues on offense. So I'm not surprised at all.
Small's reaction also, I want to point this out. So just navigating on the fly here because this just came out. Adam's story, I'm scrolling through it, has so much info that we will get to during the course of the show. But go to ESPN.com. The headline is there. The headline is going to be A.J. Brown likely to be the Patriots, to go to the Patriots. That stuff we kind of knew. There's other stuff in here we will get to, but go ahead, Smalls.
Yeah, what a delicious treat from Adam this morning. There's a lot to dive in here, but my initial reaction is, like Courtney, not surprised because things had been trending this way, but also the Eagles are in a really good spot here because they've added receiver depth. So they have Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore. They made that move for Dontavian Wicks. And as you guys pointed out, financially, it's advantageous for them to wait till post June 1 because of that $40 million salary cap would be split over 2 years. And also, let's bring back what Courtney just was talking about this year's draft. If people are not enamored with this year's draft, if you're the Eagles, I don't need to rush to get something done. And I can wait till financially it's better for me. And then I could get potentially capital for a future draft where I feel better about the crop of talent that's coming through. So they were really smart to add depth, which allows them to be patient in order to wait until post June 1 to make this move, but would not be surprised at all if this is where it ends up, A.J. Brown to the Patriots.
And let me just add one other thing. And I'm scrolling through this because it just came out, Adam Schefter's draft intel story with tons of nuggets in here. I wonder if the Eagles will ask for a receiver back. Because remember, the Patriots signed one of your guys, Romeo Doubs, from the Packers. So you would think Romeo Doubs and A.J. Brown are obviously your two starting receivers. But they also have Matt Collins, who's been on the Eagles before and is a high-character, locker-room player who can do anything on the field. I'm not saying he's elite in anything, but you could put him anywhere. Keishon Butte is another guy that I would be interested in if I were the Eagles. Pop Douglas is a slot receiver. And they have Kyle Williams, who was a relatively high draft pick out of Washington State a year ago. So I do wonder if part of the deal, and I haven't seen this with Adam's story, is draft compensation as well as getting another wide receiver in there. I don't know that, but that would be a guess that they would at least ask, why not, if you're the Eagles? Because these are not high-priced guys. And if Devontae Smith is your 1 and Dontavion Wicks is your 2, and you have Hollywood Brown, you're not necessarily looking for somebody that needs to be a number 1 receiver. You're looking at somebody who could play that 2 through 4 or 5 role. The Patriots are littered with those guys. And now New England is doing something different than they've done they got to the Super Bowl last year. And if this A.J. Brown deal happens, they are totally changing mentality. They're changing mentality because when Drake May drops back, he now needs to look for a specific guy. Not whoever's open, A.J. Brown and everyone else. Mm-hmm. Because that's what A.J. Brown wants, and we know that. Now, I believe that Mike Vrabel will be significantly better at managing that than Nick Sirianni was. That said, Nick Sirianni's done more overall winning than Mike Vrabel has. Like, I don't like the idea of how much I and others knock Sirianni without at least pointing out that man has won a lot of football games. I don't know that anyone would look at the A.J. Brown situation and say he handled it well. I do believe Vrabel will handle it better.
Why is that?
Because of the experience and because of the willingness to say things that obviously I don't know that Sirianni is walking into the locker room and telling a guy off the way that Vrabel would in that scenario.
And they have that pre-existing relationship.
Yeah, and it's right. Telling him off in a healthy way, not like a I don't believe you sort of way.
Well, he won't also have the issues on offense because they don't have a revolving door the way that the Eagles have at OC. I mean, you have Josh McDaniels.
Best OC in the league who can't go anywhere else as a head coach. Yep. If he does well, he's going to stay in New England. If he does poorly, he's going to stay in New England.
We always talk about the quarterbacks being the ones who have to bear the brunt of OCs leaving, being there 1 year, and then gone the next year. It matters for receivers, too. Yes, a route tree looks the same, usually offense by offense, but having a different play caller absolutely affects the receiver, too. And I'm sure that factored in for A.J. Brown, given since he was traded from the Titans to the Eagles, how many OCs he's had to run through. Like, he probably is craving as much stability as someone like Jalen Hurts is, except Jalen Hurts can't leave because he's paid a lot of money to be the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown sees a situation where he's going to not only a place where he's going to be featured as the alpha, the guy. He's going to be the offense with a young quarterback that he can groom to, hey, throw me the football this way, play football this way because it's going to feature me in an offense. You're going to a place where the offensive coordinator is going to be there for the long haul and is going to get a chance to work with you for multiple years. I think that's just as attractive as anything else about the Patriots that could present the opportunity for A.J. Brown to go there.
I didn't see compensation. I would assume it's not a first-round pick. Maybe a 27 second would be my guess. I could be totally wrong on that to get A.J. Brown.
I don't think it says in the story yet, but I would imagine, I can't imagine a first-round pick.
Now, by the way, again, if you're just tuning in, Adam Schefter just released his draft intel story. A.J. Brown likely to become a Patriot post June 1st, the trade between Philadelphia and New England. Compensation TBD. It will not affect Thursday's draft. Why is it after June 1st? Because the cap hit is much lower for Philadelphia at that time. And Howie Roseman, the general manager of the Eagles, is famously the last few months, A.J. Brown is still a member of the Philadelphia Eagles, is rightfully not answering anything. Why would you? Why would you add to it if you're him? He's been around. He knows exactly how to handle it, which is to say nothing.
Right.
And then ultimately June 2nd and 3rd, they can start saying, we thank him for his time. It didn't work out, last year, and we're going to all move forward, whatever it may be. But this is obviously a major piece of this story. There are a lot of other aspects of this story now that Adam just released. Also, we got to get to Smalls' point on Dexter Lawrence as to why you believe that both the Bengals and the Giants were huge winners of that trade. That trade does affect this Thursday's draft, of course, which we will be there in Pittsburgh for the draft. All right. A lot of catching up to do, a lot of reading to do with this Adam Schefter story with the draft intel. And there's a little buzz around that number 3 pick potentially as well. We will get to all of this coming